JDM, Japanese Drift Master, is releasing on May the 21st, and a huge thanks to Gaming Factory for giving me a key to test this one out early on the Steam Deck. Unfortunately, they did warn me ahead of time, performance is not up to scratch on the Steam Deck. The game has a huge amount of potential with all things drift, with some also just standard race styles and a very difficult drag racing mode, but overall, although it is just about playable on the Steam Deck, it's definitely not the most enjoyable experience. Now you do have the arcade, but it's more simcade than arcade, I would say, on the racing side, but if you want to go full racing simulation you can as well. Lowest graphics settings, 60 frames per second cap with anti-aliasing on high and FSR on balanced, still doesn't give you a solid over 30 frames per second, unfortunately. The map on this is also absolutely huge, and you're going to have to get used to some very thin roads to really perfect your skills. Tons of customization, everything inside your vehicle can be customized, as well as the standard tuning options for all of your parts to really soup up your cars, even when you start with something extremely basic. Tons of potential in this game. Unfortunately, it's just not quite there on the Steam Deck yet, especially as it does crash later on in the early chapters when you take on one of the first big races down in Ichikawa, and does halt progression. Also, driving around at night can be a very difficult experience, not only because it's difficult to see on very narrow roads, but that frame rate also does tend to plummet, especially in some of the wider open areas. As you'll see, especially when we start bombing it down the highway here, we go down into the mid-20s on the frames per second. So still a lot to happen on the performance front with this one, and hopefully we'll see some patches and make this much more playable on the deck. And they have also said that they will be following up with a cloud save patch, as well as cloud save is not supported out of the box right now, which is also very annoying. We'll be keeping an eye on this one though, so keep an eye on the channel, and if you're into your drift cars or just racing in general, then this is definitely one to keep an eye on. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.